Good afternoon, race fans. Welcome here to the 23rd race of the season, the third season of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series. 4 races, including today, remain until the playoff grid is put together with 16 drivers to battle it out for the championship. And we kick off things here today at the Watkins Glen International Raceway. This is actually our last road course stop of the regular season, so for all those road course ringers, it's their last opportunity at the track, a track that they specialize at, to be able to try and get a W and make their way into a playoff position. Take a look here up at the front of the drivers we have inside of the top 5 at a track that, let's be honest, most road course, it's all about starting track position. R Acosta, the defending champion, is the pole sitter for this race. He comes into this race 14th in the points. He's still looking for a win. Of course, last week was when he got, 1 year ago last week at Martinsville was when he got the win that eventually put him in the playoffs to win the championship. He's only got 4 more tries to try and defend his championship title. He's got the pole position. He shares the front row with Patrick Smith, who is currently the leading rookie in the overall points and in the rookie point standings. But drivers like N Ormond, Jacob Thibodeau, N Hudson are rookies that have gone to victory lane. Smith still has not found victory lane despite such a great overall season. Could it happen here today at Watkins Glen? Row 2, you've got K Batson. Batson hasn't won since season 1 at Richmond. Batson comes into this race currently inside the top 30 in the point standings, 25th in points. A win could put him into the playoffs for the first time in his career. And alongside of him is J Gardner, New York native. Gardner comes into this race 36th in the standings. Of course, last week we were looking at him as maybe a guy to play spoiler on pit strategy at Martinsville, but he had to come to pit road with about 15 laps remaining. Did not get the finish he was looking for. Maybe he could pick up a road course win in front of his home crowd. And completing the top 5, another driver who has not won this season, J Shelton. So far, S3 Motorsports only has 1 win this season. That's with J Sandfer at ISM. Shelton comes into this race currently 37th in the point standings, but still within striking distance to get in the top 30 in points, and a win certainly could help her in that regard. I definitely think that Shelton would love to be able to get a victory here because a lot of her wins in the past, not counting the ISM win that she had back, I think it was in Season 2. Was it Season 2? Yes, in Season 2. A lot of Shelton's wins here in the Duracell Cup Series have come at super speedways, and really the only track we've got coming up that, put it in air quotes, could count as a super speedway would be Auto Club, the regular season finale. So, these top 5, they have not won yet this season. They want to get a win. Could it happen here today at Watkins Glen? They're starting up near the front, but again, starting up near the front may not help these guys out because Watkins Glen and a lot of road courses we go to comes into a pit strategy type race. If we end up going into long green flag runs, would there be somebody that'd be willing to try and roll the dice, stay out a little longer, gain track position? It's 27 laps, and we're going to have to wait and see how many cautions we may have in those 27 circuits. But without further ado, let's go down trackside. Get the most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
Well, with 4 races remaining, we're starting to get an idea of drivers that are going to be in the playoffs this season. And as of right now, I believe there are 5 drivers that are mathematically confirmed they will be in playoff contention here this season. Those drivers would include Dylan Young, 3-time winner. He's high enough in the points that he is mathematically going to make it into this season's postseason. 2-time winners, Austin LaPlante and J Millz, last week's winner from Martinsville. They are locked in. And then 1-time winners, Jack Mitchell, who's the points leader. He's so far ahead of 30th in the standings coming into this race. He is already locked into the playoffs, as is Zach Rogers, who is rolling off from the 6th position. So those 5 are already locked in. Right now, the rest of your playoff grid would look like this. J Llamas, Jacob Thibodeau would actually be up there right now, a 2-time winner. Then J Llamas, M Haas, Levi McIntyre, R Brommer, N Hudson, Jordan Lopez, Carter Friesen, J Qualls, and Marcus Saatchi, who comes into this race 30th in the point standings. Right now, 1 driver would make it in via points if we do not have a different winner here today, or drivers like C Sandfer or N Ormond get back up inside of the top 30 in the points, and that driver right now would be in position 2nd in the standings, Benny Watson. Two former winners are in the field here from Watkins Glen. J Millz, who comes in this race a defending winner from last week, was the inaugural winner here back in Season 1. So he's chasing his second win at Watkins Glen, third win of the season. And last year, Jesse Turner took the checkered flag. Turner comes into this race 26th in the point standings, does not have a win yet this season. And let's not forget, Jesse Turner has made the playoffs in both Season 1 and Season 2. So we'll keep an eye and see if the 47 makes his way up at any point to the front. Looks like he's starting back closer to the rear of the field than anything. I believe he's starting around the 32nd position. So we'll see if he's got any pit strategy in his back pocket to maybe try and get up here and go for back-to-back wins at Watkins Glen International. 27 laps of racing, all Camry front row. Defending champion R Acosta, current rookie points leader Patrick Smith, who is going to take the checkered flag here today at the last road course stop of the regular season. Green flags in the air. Let's roll at the Glen. Ryan Acosta and Patrick Smith had that pretty well worked out. Acosta to the lead, Smith into second, but Keith Batson has other plans. He's going to get alongside the 77 for second place. Up the slightly uphill section there of the S's, now heading for one of the most treacherous parts of the track, the chicane, the bus stop. Can they make it through it here, side by side for third between Smith and Shelton? And you saw right there some of these guys that are on the driver's right of those battles going through the chicane get off into the grass a little. It kills their momentum. You saw Patrick Smith for a moment make a charge on the outside of the carousel, but Keith Batson will clear and hold on to position number 2. Smith back to third. Shelton right now slotted in fourth. Ryan Acosta hoping they continue to battle for second place. That will allow him to concentrate on laying down Q laps and pulling away as Smith looks again to driver's right. That's the inside, turn 1 on Keith Batson, who may have gotten a little wide in that corner. Smith with a good momentum, getting back to the throttle sooner. He'll go back to second place. Shelton now challenging Batson for third. Randy S's just a little wide there on that left-hander, and it's going to have to slot back into the fourth spot. Zach Rogers now up to fifth, as we have a battle maybe brewing for the race lead. Patrick Smith took a little peek there heading into the entrance of the chicane, but instead tucks back in line, and Acosta will hold on to the top spot still, at least maybe for another lap. We drop back here, and there's some battling going on just outside, or actually, no, I'm sorry, just inside of the top 10. That is around the 9th position, I believe. 9th and 10th, William Brock and Austin LaPlante. Matthew Rodriguez right now, I believe, is scored in the 11th position, just ahead of former Watkins Glen winner J Millz. And Millz finished one position ahead of Phil Parker last week at Martinsville. Parker running right behind the 98 right now. That's a battle for the 11th position between the 98 and the 74. N Ormond right there in the mix as well. We should actually bring up the point situation for drivers either near the cut line or just below the cut line, because actually we've got quite a number of drivers that were way down there in the point stands that are starting to make their way up towards that third and standings cut line. Now N Ormond comes into this race 31st in points. He's only 7 points back from 30th in standings, which right now is M Saatchi. And you see the 21 of Saatchi back there, that purple and orange FedEx Chevrolet. So he's trying to get himself back up away from that cut line. The other two drivers, Charles Sandfer and Carson Gunn, they still have a mathematical shot as well. Charles Sandfer is 23 points back from the cut line of third and stands. He gained 2 more spots after a solid outing at Martinsville last week. Now up to 33rd. Carson Gunn, on the other hand, is 35th in the points. Our Daytona 500 winner currently sets a total of 36 points behind the cut line, and let's see where he's currently at. And there he is. Batson, the 19, as the caution's out. Caution is out for the first time today on lap number 4. Technically on lap number 3. It was when they came to begin lap number 4. Carson Gunn, by the way, just to get back on track of what I was thinking, he's running right now in the 24th position. I heard someone hit something, but I couldn't see who it was. And are these guys racing back? I think these guys are racing back. Patrick Smith just took the lead away from Ryan Acosta. I think half the field was already past the line when the caution came out, and then the other half were not. So we got some guys racing back and some guys that have already thought they've taken the caution that are slowing down. So that's going to be a little bit of an issue for race officials to try and sort out. But Patrick Smith did indeed take the race lead away from Ryan Acosta there on that lap, and so he is actually going to lead us back here to the caution flag. So that's our first lead change of the day. And I tried scanning on pit road as the leaders were going by, and I didn't see anybody sitting there. So I don't know what brought this yellow flag out. It sounded like it was in the final corners, but I'm not sure exactly where it was. Pace car is currently in the carousel, so the drivers have to catch up to that. So while they catch up, well, actually, we should really stay with the field just in case we have some drivers hit pit road. Because with this caution coming out, they'll be coming to pit lane nearing about 22 laps remaining. And I don't know if they can make it those 22 laps on one tank of fuel or not. Patrick Smith and the rest of the field going to come up here and pick up the pace car. The pit lane should be open this time. Looks like up to Levi McIntyre had crossed the start-finish line when that caution came out. Now you're seeing that second group starting to catch up, that it all slowed down since the caution came out before they had crossed the start-finish line. That was a very unfortunate timing of that yellow flag for a lot of these guys. And pits are open. Nobody's coming in. Look at that. So does this mean that nobody feel they are able to make it on fuel even if they did come to pit road at this time? Very interesting. A lot of these guys maybe not wanting to give up that track position, knowing that they would still probably have to make a pit stop before the end of this race. So Patrick Smith leads the way. Let's go back and see what brought out the caution. I heard someone hit something, but I definitely didn't see it, and there's no skid marks to indicate where it happened either. It was the 22 of Mitchell Collins, who's really been having a tough last couple of weeks. He struggled last week at Martinsville, and is the first caution today. Contact there between himself and Vince Almariego for what was the 17th position, and as they made contact, it directed the 22 down into the barrels, trying to protect drivers from hitting where the start of the pit road wall is. And that's why we didn't see any skid marks, because there was no brakes. Collins never got on the brakes. He hit that full force, and that is some extensive damage to the front end of his Shell Pennzoil Helix Ford Mustang. Looks like he is going to suffer potentially back-to-back DNFs after a DNF last week as well at Martinsville. Very tough start of the day for one of the drivers out of Young Motorsports as Mitchell Collins brings out the first caution of the day here at the Glen. So we saw nobody come to pit lane there. The green light was on, pit road was open. And the reason that that's important is because they only get one attempt to come to pit lane if there's no drivers that are a lap down. If there are drivers a lap down, I believe we get 2 pace laps. We only get 1 if all drivers still running around the lead lap, which is the case. Road course yellows. You can see that the lights are out atop the pace car. We're going back green here on lap 7 of 27. One driver out of the race. Of course, that being Mitchell Collins. 39 drivers still running and on the lead lap. And Patrick Smith, who got the race lead away from Ryan Acosta just before that caution came out. He's going to lead him back down to the green. Acosta second, Batson third, Shelton fourth, Rogers fifth. Then it's Johnny Gardner, Charles Sandfer, William Brock, Austin LaPlante, and J Millz Has the green flag back in the air, and Ryan Acosta says, hey, I want the lead back. He dives it down to the inside into turn 1. See if he can make it work. He's going to try and clear Smith before they get to the S's. He succeeds in doing so. So Ryan Acosta, the pole sitter, back out in front. Battle now looks like it could be for second. K Batson trying to look for a way around the 77. He'll go driver's right. Heading here into the chicane, not quite there. Smith threw the block on him. Batson runs it a little wide. That's going to lose him third place. Shelton goes around the outside in the carousel up into a podium position. Her teammate Charles Sandfer trying to make a move there on J Gardner. That would be for 6th. I don't know. Sandfer had a top 10 run last week at Martinsville. He's run up in the top 10 here at Watkins Glen. Our ISM winner looks like he's finally putting the puzzle pieces together to get himself up into the top 30, potentially into a playoff spot. But as of right now, I mean, I think we mentioned that M Saatchi was the last driver eligible win-wise right now to get a playoff position. That would be 15th. N Ormond, he's running up inside the top 10, so he'd move up, so he'd be in the 16th playoff spot. So Charles Sandfer, once he gets into the top 30 in points, he then has to try and get by N Ormond or M Saatchi to try and get into a playoff position, because if Sandfer makes it into the top 30 and Ormond makes it into the top 30, we've got 17 winners up inside of the top 30 in points. And remember, only 16 drivers can get in. And if Ryan Acosta wins here today, that's another driver. That'd be, 17? No, 18 drivers. 18 winners up inside the top 30 in points. Smith is hounding Acosta, and now he'll make a move to the inside. Well, the inside there in the carousel, outside down here into the left-hander. And I think he may have messed up just a little bit, because that opened the door. Shelton's going to try and go for second place. And she will take it. Battle will now be for third between Batson and Smith, although Smith tries to battle back against Shelton for second place there. Out of that right-hander, he is alongside, and it will be a battle for the runner-up spot. Shelton runs the corner wide, up over the rumble strip. Car kind of got a little light there, it looked like. And Patrick Smith actually got by Ryan Acosta for the lead as well because of that. Something happened to the 10. Zach Rogers now going to go by for second. Something's happened to Ryan Acosta. I don't know what it is, but he's lost a lot of momentum. And look at them, they're stacking up behind him now. Smith to the lead, Rogers to second, Shelton up to third now after a very strange occurrence there. Yeah, something's wrong with the 10 car. J Gardner just got around him. He is not taking these corners the way he should. I don't know if he's got a tire down or if all of a sudden that engine is losing power, but something is wrong with the pole sitter. Look at the difference of the straightaway speed there. Batson clears. Sandfer's going by. Let's see if the 10 comes to pit road this time, because something is evidently wrong. And no, he's going to stay out, but look at how he's stacking up the guys behind him. J Millz now going to get by. Look at this. Yeah, so that car is down on power somehow. We also just saw the 33 of Jacob Thibodeau on pit lane. Two-time winner this season, 22nd in the points, and I don't know if that's a regularly scheduled stop for the 33, but he's on pit road nonetheless. So the top 5 certainly looks a lot different now. Patrick Smith out in front. Zach Rogers in a battle with Shelton for second. Shelton's going to peek out of line heading to the chicane. J Gardner's now up to 4th, and right now K Batson sits in 5th. Ryan Acosta, I believe, has just now dropped outside of the top 10. So it'll be interesting to find out what went wrong on the 10 car, because he looked fine. But now all of a sudden that car is losing positions as he is obviously not up to pace. It's now got T Wright trying to go around him for what I believe would be the 10th position, maybe 11th. And Smith now out in front. He's been the only other driver to lead a lap with the exception of the pole sitter Ryan Acosta. He now looks in his rearview mirror and he sees that bright green Monster Energy Challenger of Zach Rogers closing in. Mentioned that Jack Mitchell and Zach Rogers, drivers that have been to victory lane once this season, they come into this race already locked into the playoffs mathematically. No way that they can lose enough spots in the standings in these next 4 races to knock them out of playoff eligibility. So Zach Rogers, knowing that, he's going to go out here, try and pick up a second victory. We had a battle for the 4th position going into the chicane. It was Gardner and Batson, but Batson had to lift and give up the spot back to the 14. William Brock, the only Northeast Motorsports driver that has not won a race yet this season, comes into this event currently situated in the 5th position in points, so if he were to win today, that would probably lock him up a playoff spot. Same for Patrick Smith, who's leading this race. He's 4th in the standings. As Brock's going to make a move on Sandfer, he'll pass him for the 6th position, just up ahead. Keith Batson got around Johnny Gardner for 4th. And the top 3, you could throw a blanket over them: Smith, Rogers, and Shelton. And maybe Keith Batson into this mix. So you have Toyota, Dodge, Chevy, Ford. Right now, your top 4. Question is, when do these drivers make that pit stop? Nobody came to pit road under our only caution up to this point. That was back on lap 4. So how far can they go before they have to come to pit lane? Charles Sandfer trying to make his way back in the top 30, running in 6th. Nathan Ormond also trying to run his way back into the top 30. Right now in that, actually he's in 8th rather, I apologize. Sandfer's in 7th. So both these guys doing exactly what they need to do, and it could come down between these 2 guys at Auto Club maybe for that final playoff position if both manage to get up inside the top 30, as Rogers has a challenge there from Jessica Shelton for 2nd place. He gets back around her, and Batson follows him through into 3rd. Keith Batson's running some of the fastest laps right now, and he is one of the few actually making forward progress. He's going to take a look here on Zach Rogers for 2nd. Not sure if that's going to work out in his favor. As long as he keeps his car on the racing surface coming off the exit, but no, he hits the rumble strip a little bit, loses momentum. Rogers will swing around the outside and keep 2nd place. And that brings Shelton, Gardner, and Brock all there nose to tail behind the 39, looking for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Now Batson takes a look on Rogers again. Boy, Keith Batson's got some good straightaway speed, but he wasn't really even close enough to challenge Rogers for the spot. That leaves the door open into the right-hander. Shelton's going to go for 3rd. Looks like she's going to get it. He gets stuck on that outside line through that right-hander. You saw Batson up there on the rumble strips. There's not a whole lot of grip there. The rear tires actually kind of spin. And with that loss of momentum, if a driver's to your inside, they're easily going to pass you for the spot. Here's a battle now between Nathan Ormond and Charles Sandfer for 7th. Ormond is going to clear for the spot before they even get halfway through the S's, it looks like. Nope, Sandfer battles back. They're going to take this battle down onto the straightaway, heading towards the chicane, perhaps? No, Ormond finally clears them before they get to that straightaway. LaPlante running in 9th, Jose Millz there in 10th. Both of those guys already locked into the playoffs, 2-time winners this season. Then you look just outside the top 10. You got Phil Parker running in 11th, Austin Kolano there in 12th. A couple of rookies that have had really good runs the last couple of weeks. Kolano, a runner-up finish 2 weeks ago at Kentucky. Phil Parker, a runner-up finish last week at Martinsville. Matthew Rodriguez right there in the 57 in the 13th position. Trey Wright in 14th. Carter Friesen there in 15th. I mean, you look here at guys like Friesen, McIntyre, Qualls. These are guys that have wins this season. Friesen at Atlanta, McIntyre at Charlotte, and Qualls at Pukekohe, the only other road course that we've been to, with the exception of Pensacola road course this season. They're out there just trying to get good finishes, keep themselves away from that 30th in standings cut line, and for them, they're hoping they can go into some tracks like Bristol, Dirt, Auto Club, already locked into the playoffs with the victories they've gotten earlier on in the season. Marcus Saatchi right there in that 18th position. Maybe just trying to finish out the race. He has DNF'd in back-to-back races, Kentucky and Martinsville. It has dropped him, as we mentioned, down to 30th in the point stands. And let's not forget, too, Marcus Saatchi, his first career win was last season, and it was at a road course, Lime Rock, during the playoffs. There's your top two in the point standings. Jack Mitchell, your points leader, right now in the 19th position, already locked into what will be his first playoff appearance. Caution is out. Second in the standings, Benny Watson, still looking for his first win on the year. He's right now in the 20th spot as the yellow flag waves. And this changes everything, because now it looks like everybody will get to be able to make their pit stop under caution rather than under green. And we had about 3 drivers on pit road, it looked like, back there. I couldn't tell who they all were from first glance, but it looks like we had a multi-car wreck to bring out the yellow flag here. Nearing 10 laps to go. There's Ryan Acosta back in 39th position is where he scored. That car obviously off the pace. Cody Llamas was involved in this, our Fuel Motorsports Park winner. As were Aaron Macklin, Ryan Butcher, who finished runner-up at the last road course race at Pensacola. Ryan Brommer. A lot of damage on our Texas race winner. And it'll be interesting to see where this happened. With the way of the timing of the yellow flag, I'm assuming it might have maybe happened in the S's. Quite possibly maybe, though, here in the exit of the chicane. So we're going to stay here real quickly with these guys. Oh, there's the skid marks right there. You see them heading off in the entrance of the carousel. So we're going to stay with these guys because this could potentially be the money stop. These drivers have made it 16 laps on 1 tank of fuel, which says that they are going to be good to go the rest of the way. They'll be going back green somewhere around 10 laps to go, I think. So they will definitely be able to make it on fuel if they come down and get that fuel tank completely full. It'll be interesting to see if anyone goes with just a fuel-only pit stop, if they take tires. And can Patrick Smith's team get it done on pit road and get him back out there in first place? Pits will be open this time. There is no way these drivers can make it on fuel. They're going to have to pit here and now, or else they're going to have to pit under green flag conditions. And here comes everybody snaking their way down below that yellow line, indicating they are coming to pit lane. And let's follow the 77 of Patrick Smith, who's going to have the second pit stall. Started this race on the outside of the front row. Let's see if that good pit stall is going to help him keep the race lead here, as everybody on pit lane for what is going to be their only pit stop of the day. This is a great view right here, watching them come down the downhill section of the front of pit road. And there are going to be a number of drivers going to be going for tires. Left side's going on, a number of our top 5. Do they go around to the right? They do. 4 tire pit stops for everybody up at least inside of the top 10. Rogers down and away. Patrick Smith looks to beat him off of pit road. It's close. Oh, it was close. And I think Rogers got him. He did. We always go back and kind of look at the moment in the race where a driver ends up winning. If Rogers wins this race, that pit stop right there was the winning moment. Couldn't have been more than a couple of inches that Zach Rogers beat Patrick Smith off of pit lane exit. So Rogers will be the leader, Smith second, Batson third, Shelton fourth, and Ormond will be your top 5 when we go back green. We're going to quickly go back and look at the replay because we're going back green this lap. This was towards the rear of the field, just outside of the top 30. Matt Haas, winner from a couple weeks ago at Kentucky. Aaron Macklin side by side. Macklin loses momentum, and Cody Llamas gets him in the left rear quarter panel. Both cars hit that tire barrier a ton. Cody comes down on top of the 78 of Ryan Butcher, and nowhere for Ryan Brommer to go either. That was a couple of hits right on top of Butcher and Brommer. You can see the roof damage and the windshield damage sustained by the 9. Butcher's car slides up. Fortunately, did not hit those tire barriers further out there at the top of the carousel. But, oh my goodness, that was violent hits. Let's take another look. Another camera angle here. It just looks like Macklin, when he went up over the rumble strip, he lost a ton of momentum, and Cody Llamas did not lift. And look at the shot right there, right up on top of the 78, and then, oh, gracious. R Brommer right up under the undercarriage, the rear suspension of the 84 of Llamas. And no doubt all four of those drivers are going to be out of the race, but oh my goodness. Cody's car went airborne. Macklin's car went airborne. His car upside down. The safety crews were over there evacuating him out of the car since that car did not flip back onto its wheels. Hard hits here at Watkins Glen, bringing out the second caution of the day. Pace car gets set to make the left-hand turn to pit road. It will be 10 laps to go to finish out today's race at Watkins Glen. Have we seen our last caution? We'll have to wait and see. Zach Rogers leads the way, coming down to the green over Patrick Smith, Keith Batson, J Shelton, and J Gardner, I believe. Oh, no, I'm sorry, N Ormond is your top five. Then it's William Brock, Charles Sanford, J Gardner, and I got to wait till they cross the line to figure out the rest of the top 10. Austin Kolano and Austin LaPlante. That is your top 10. As battle is going to be for the fifth position, rather, up at the front. William Brock going to make the pass on N Ormond. Move up into the top five. Now looks to the inside of J Shelton for fourth. And Smith wants the lead back. Rogers got it away from him on pit road on that pit stop. Smith now going to try and take the top spot back. He'll move to driver's right, heading down to the chicane on Zach Rogers, number 6. Couldn't get there. Rogers holds the top spot for the moment. Brock and Shelton battling for fourth. Brock went a little off course there on the chicane exit. Shelton's holding on to the spot for the moment. Here comes Brock battling back. Now he slots into the 5th position. J Gardner looking to the inside of his teammate N Ormond. That would have been a battle for, I believe, the 6th position. Now he's got Charles Sanford crossing him over for 7th. Great racing all through the field. That's one of the beautiful things about this version of Watkins Glen is you don't have a boring race. You have drivers battling all over, and caution is out. I think someone just hit the pit wall again. From what I saw, it looked like someone got spun into the pit wall again. Shades of Mitchell Collins, our first yellow. And we are under caution yet again here at the Glen. And this time it was the points leader, Jack Mitchell. Jacob Thibodeau coming off pit road. That was a regularly scheduled stop for the 33 as he was off pit sequence. But Jack Mitchell, who already came into this race knowing he was locked into the playoffs, our Darlington winner and overall points leader, 37 points over the rest of the field, his nearest competitor in the standings. And he will not finish out today's Watkins Glen race. Well, this definitely helps everybody to be able to save fuel. I doubt anybody will be coming to pit lane with the exception of anybody that could have gotten some damage from that incident. Zach Rogers paces us here under our 3rd caution of the day. Let's go back and see what happened off the final corner. So we know the where. The question is we don't know the who. Who did he make contact with? There it is right there, Levi McIntyre. They were battling for around the 17th position, and very much like what we saw earlier with Mitchell Collins when he made contact with another car, it just sends him down wrong angle and straight into the beginning of the pit road wall. And that spells the end of the day for the green, gold, and black McDonald Chevrolet out of JM01 Motorsports. Mitchell obviously has the fact that he is making it into the playoffs to fall back on, but would have loved to continue to grow his points lead in the overall point standings, because remember, just as important as making it into the playoffs, a lot of these guys like Mitchell and Rogers and Llamas and LaPlante, they're all looking to get up there to the top of the standings at regular season's end to get those valuable 10 bonus points as the regular season champion. So with Mitchell out of this race, it could definitely make that battle heading into upcoming races very hot and heavy as to who's going to get those bonus points towards the postseason. But sets us up for a restart with less than 10 to go. Let's go back for the green. pits were open. Nobody came to pit lane. No surprise there. We're going back green flag racing on lap 21 of 27. 7 laps to go here at the Glen. Just to update the drivers out of the race, pretty much everybody that's been involved in wrecks are out of the race. Jack Mitchell, the most recent retiree, joining Cody Lamas, Aaron Macklin, Ryan Butcher, Ryan Brommer, and Mitchell Collins. Jacob Thibodeau is 2 laps down as he had to make an unscheduled pit stop back during the first green flag run. He's currently the only car 1 lap down in 35th. 33 cars are on the lead lap still. Top 10 as we go back green: Zach Rogers, Patrick Smith, Keith Batson, William Brock, Jessica Shelton. Of those 5, only one of them has been to victory lane this season. That's the race leader. Johnny Gardner lines up 6th, Nathan Ormond 7th, Charles Sandfer 8th, Matthew Rodriguez is now up to 9th, and Austin Kolano completes your top 10. Green flag set to come back out here. 7 laps to go. Again, the question, have we seen our last caution? Will we race clean and green to the end? Only time will tell. Battle's going to be for 5th. Gardner steps out on Jessica Shelton. Going to clear her, it looks like, before they even exit out of turn 1. Got some other drivers back there making some moves as Gardner now goes to the outside of William Brock. I saw James Qualls making a move back there. Phil Parker, they're 3 wide back here for a moment. Between Qualls, Parker, and Millz, they settled it out to double wide, though. That was close. And New York native Johnny Gardner is trying to make his way to the front in a hurry. He's moved from 6th up to 4th before even completing this lap. And now trying to reel in the top 3. Rogers, Smith, Batson. Rogers, of course, winning earlier on this season at Pikes Peak. Or, I'm sorry, no, it wasn't at Pikes Peak. Where was it? It was at Springfield. I'm sorry, the Springfield Mile. Patrick Smith has never won. He's a rookie this season, looking for his first career win. And Keith Batson riding a winless streak that stretches all the way back to season 1 at Richmond. Who wants it more? Batson takes a look to the inside of Patrick Smith. Johnny Gardner right there with him. Let's see what the 14's going to do. Thought he might think about maybe trying it 3 wide. Instead, he's going to follow, well, I thought he was going to follow Keith Batson, who now moves up to 2nd. Now Gardner's going to challenge for 3rd. William Brock right there in the mix as well. Good battle back here between Matthew Rodriguez and Austin Kolano. That is a battle for 9th. And Jose Millz makes a move, drivers right, on Austin LaPlante for 11th place. Through the chicane they go, everybody single file. Battle here brewing for the 3rd position. Couple of Camrys. Smith in the 77, Gardner in the 14. Gardner's going to make a move there to driver's left going into this corner. He'll get alongside. Can he clear the 77 for the spot before they get to this right-hander? Gardner has to try and make sure he doesn't go up on that rumble strip and lose momentum coming off the corner. Made that corner pretty nicely there. Still alongside Patrick Smith for that 3rd position. Brock and Shelton side by side for the 5th spot behind them. And Keith Batson is on the back bumper of Zach Rogers, looking for the race lead as Smith will clear and keep the 3rd position. Shelton will keep 5th. But here's the battle for the lead between Rogers and Batson. Batson is there. Where does he try to make his move? Still a long ways to go in this one as well. It's still going to be 4 laps remaining when they get to the start-finish line, which doesn't seem like much, but at a road course with so many corners, so many opportunities to make passes, it is actually a long ways still to go. Got 2 battles up here. Actually, 3 battles right now between 2 drivers in each battle. You got Rogers versus Batson, you got Smith versus Gardner, and then you got Shelton versus Brock. The Gardner-Smith battle back on for 3rd. And Gardner clears for the spot. That's what he had to do the lap before. He just couldn't quite get the momentum he needed. Gardner goes to the 3rd spot. Here comes Batson to the inside, heading to turn 1 for the lead on Zach Rogers. And Smith crosses Gardner over for 3rd again. Side by side for the lead. Rogers and Batson. Batson back to the throttle, clears. He'll go to the top position. Looking here at Charles Belding, who's 33rd, last car on the lead lap. I don't know if he's got damage or if he may be off the pace. And speaking of off the pace, Ryan Acosta, we saw him really slow. Well, Ryan's still running. He's in the 29th position. I think whatever the issue was, they fixed that car on the last pit stop, but obviously not before losing a ton of positions on track after starting this race from the pole and leading a good portion of the beginning of this event. Shelton and Brock, they've been in a spirited battle for that 5th position, but at the same time, they're losing ground to the top 4. As now Batson, Rogers, Smith, and Gardner up there trying to battle it out, potentially for the race lead, potentially for the win. And Rogers is coming to pit road along with Shelton and Brock. They couldn't make it? Oh my goodness, this changes up everything. Shelton is in, Rogers is in, Brock, Austin LaPlante. Oh, who's going to risk it? Who's going to risk it for the biscuit? Does anybody have enough fuel to make it now? Batson, the race leader now. Smith into 2nd, Gardner to 3rd. That moves Kolano up to 4th, and Ormond now in 5th. These pit stops coming with 3 laps to go. Is anyone good on fuel? Let's see who else pitted. Cole Baker was in, Dylan Young was in as well. Along with Brock, LaPlante, we already documented them, Shelton and Rogers. Rogers pitted from 2nd place after losing the race lead to Keith Batson. So what about these guys? Are we going to see anybody else up here at the front have to duck to pit road as they'll be coming to 2 laps to go this time by? Batson, Smith, Gardner, they're all looking for their first win on the season, and Smith's coming in. Gardner's in. Ormond is in. Batson's going to stay out. Charles Sandfer stays out. Kolano stays out. Millz, Parker, McIntyre, they all stay out. Have they got 2 more laps of fuel in their tanks? Let's see who else was on pit road of that group. Turner was in. Mathews, Matt Haas, Michael Norman, Jordan Lopez, Cole Deaver, Trey Wright, Carter Friesen, and Matthew Rodriguez. Topping off the fuel tank. That's all it is. Fuel only for all of these drivers. And there you see the group of guys that came to pit road the lap before, just now intermingling or passing those guys that were just now on pit road. Keith Batson. He'll see the white flag this time. Does he have enough fuel to make it, or will he run out of fuel trying to make it? Look at the guys you got lined up behind him. Kolano trying to become the 4th rookie to win this season. Charles Sandfer trying to be a 2-time winner. J Millz, same deal, trying to win back-to-back races. Batson, he's not pitting. Neither is Kolano. Nobody up here that stayed out is coming to pit road. They're all going to risk it. Will they run out of fuel trying to do it? White flag in the air, 1 lap to go for race leader Keith Batson. Batson is 25th in points coming into this race. A win could put him into position for a playoff spot. And of course, we already documented a long winless streak could be snapped, stretching all the way back to Richmond in Season 1. He's enjoying almost a 1.9 second lead back to Austin Kolano. He's just got to hit his marks and hope that his car doesn't run out of fuel. You could hear him right there. Sounded like he clutched in the carousel. Trying to make sure he can nurse this thing home to the checkered flag. Looking for his 2nd career win. First here of Season 3. And pit strategy, fuel strategy to perfection. Off the final corner, headed for home. He can make it now on fumes. Keith Batson's going to come to the checkered flag and win here today at the Glen. Keith Batson. We said Watkins Glen tends to play out in a fuel strategy type race, and boy did it ever. Keith Batson, did he just put himself in the playoffs, which would be, if my words could actually go at the same time of what I'm thinking in my brain, Could Keith Batson have just made his first appearance in the Duracell Cup Series chase for the championship? Remember his win at Richmond last year, or not last year, back in Season 1, if I'm not mistaken, I believe took place during the playoffs. Either that or he wasn't high enough in the point standings for his win to count towards a playoff spot. And he is out of fuel. Kolano is out of fuel. But they made it. Standings should be official. Look at some of these guys up there in the top 10 finishing results. Sandfer in 3rd, Millz 4th, Parker 5th, McIntire 6th. Our Pucaca winner, J Qualls in 7th. Adam Garcia and V Almariego in 8th and 9th. And M Saatchi, after 2 weeks of frustrating finishes, finally a top 10 run here at the Glen. Benny Watson 11th. How about Ryan Acosta? Ryan Acosta had that mechanical issue where he had either lost a cylinder or something was majorly wrong. He was another of the drivers that stayed out. He's going to come away with a top 15 finish in 12th. And Benny Watson with Jack Mitchell out of the race finishing in 11th. That's going to close him in on that overall points lead. But, of course, Watson is still looking for a win. The rest of your top 15 were Zach Rogers, J Gardner, and Patrick Smith, who were all running 1st, 2nd, and 3rd before all those drivers had to hit pit road, and Batson just hit the pit wall. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to get that car to victory lane except on the end of a tow hook. Rest of your top 20 were Austin LaPlante, Jessica Shelton, Matthew Rodriguez, Nathan Ormond, and Dylan Young. And you look on down here through the remainder of the finishing results, and I mean, all these guys from 13th on down all had to make pit stops there in the final few laps of this race. Jesse Turner, the defending winner, 33rd, last car on the lead lap. Certainly not the run he was looking for. The other former winner, J Millz, finished in the top 10. Jacob Thibodeau finished 2 laps down. We had 3 cautions during the course of this race, and it took out Jack Mitchell, Cody Lamas, Aaron Macklin, Ryan Butcher, Ryan Brommer, and Mitchell Collins. But Keith Batson now throws his name into the ring of a driver trying to make his way into the playoffs. Nathan Ormond finishing in the 19th position. Don't know if he's going to move up into the top 30 in points or not, because Marcus Saatchi, who was 30th in the standings, did finish in the top 10 in 10th. And Charles Sandfer, who came into this race a total of, I believe I said it was 36 points out of 30th in the standings. A 3rd place run here today following up his run last week at Martinsville. Could Sandfer have just made his way into the top 30 in the points? We're going to have to wait and see. But thank you all for tuning in today's exciting race here from Watkins Glen. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We have shown you full finish results, and these are what your point standings look like heading into next week. Next week could be another fuel strategy type race, as we're going to be going to the Tricky Triangle in the Pocono Mountains Pocono Raceway. Going to be playing host to our 24th race of the season. And if we look ahead at the rest of the regular season, we've got Bristol Dirt coming up after that, and then the regular season finale at Auto Club Speedway. So 4 tracks here in these final 4 races that are definitely, I think, playing factors into who's going to make it into the playoffs and who is not. Some very crucial tracks, very technical tracks, and tracks that very well could play into fuel strategy races. Keith Batson proved that here today with his win at the Watkins Glen International Raceway. We will see you guys next week as you've been watching a production of the SRA, Offline Racing at its best.